This story begins with Rafi, a very beautiful woman who is feeling somewhat sad as she tells her therapist Lisa that she has already signed the divorce papers. However, Lisa tells her that it is normal to feel sad about a failed marriage, but she should look on the bright side. Now she is a free woman and must focus on the present and pursue her happiness. Not far from there, we meet Dave, a young painter who accompanies his friend Morris on a new adventure. As always, Dave is the good friend who is always there to help Morris and ends up getting into trouble, although he has always wondered why Morris only chases girls who are clearly out of his league. Morris, who has brought a gift for the girl, ends up throwing it in her face once she rejects him again, telling him that he is too ugly to go out with her. This causes the girl's brothers to come out furious and chase Morris down the street. Luckily, Dave had already started the car, and the friends managed to escape unharmed. Later, Morris drops Dave off at the movie theater since he has a date that night, and while waiting for the girl, he runs into Randall, an old high school classmate, who introduces him to Rafi and Catherine. A few seconds later, Michelle, Dave's date, appears and kisses him on the lips, making it clear in front of everyone that they are a couple. After this, everyone goes in to watch the movie, but Dave stays in the bathroom, and when he heads to the theater, he discovers that the door is closed because the screening has already started. The exact same thing happens to Rafi, and now both of them are in the hallway, which gives them some time to talk. Although Rafi is much older than Dave, he cannot take his eyes off her. She is very beautiful, and he lets her know with a compliment. After the movie ends, Dave makes up an excuse to get rid of Michelle and goes home to check the yellow pages, looking for Rafi's phone number. After several attempts, he finally hears her voice on the phone, and although his nerves get the better of him for a moment, in the end he finishes speaking honestly. Rafi is surprised by the young man's sincerity and tries to think about what would be the right response. So she decides to take a risk and accepts the invitation. Excited, the next night arrives quickly, and the date begins at a very nice Italian restaurant that Rafi used to go to with her ex-husband. Dave, who is young and sincere, is full of funny anecdotes that make Rafi feel much more comfortable and lessen the fact that she has not been on a date for years. After this, the young man plans to buy some beers, since now it is his turn to take Rafi to one of his favorite places. But the topic changes when the clerk asks for his ID, and Rafi discovers that she is not just a little older than Dave, but that the difference is 15 years. The young man tells her to stop thinking about numbers. They have a connection, and it is time to see where it leads them. A few minutes later, after jumping a fence, Dave takes Rafi to a secret garden where the evening continues until very late at night. The next morning, Rafi cannot hide the huge smile on her face as she talks to Lisa during her therapy session. She then tells her everything about her date, which ended in a passionate kissing session. Lisa overflows with happiness upon hearing that one of her favorite patients has found some happiness. More than anyone, she knows everything Rafi suffered in her previous marriage, and seeing her so happy brings her great joy. With the approval of her therapist, who urges her to enjoy life a little, Rafi decides to continue seeing Dave, and although she knows that nothing serious could come of it, she is feeling some excitement, and that is already a lot after so much sadness. Things change the next day when we discover that Lisa is Dave's mother, but since Rafi did not tell Lisa details about her new boyfriend, and Dave does not tell his mother about his relationships, she is still unaware of it. On the other hand, Lisa knows that her son is dating someone, and only begs him that she be Jewish, since in her family they are very devout, and she has always wanted to arrange a decent partner for her son. Dave lies to his mother and tells her that his new partner is only 1 year older than him, so Lisa does not fully connect the dots and does not realize what is happening. Meanwhile, Dave and Rafi spend more and more time together. She shows him the virtues of classical music, and with each kiss, he makes her feel more alive than ever. The days pass, and Rafi becomes increasingly immersed in this new relationship with Dave, who is also determined to fully let himself go, causing them to end up spending the night together. Lisa cannot believe the incredible change she has seen in Rafi. She is very happy and for the first time in her life feels a deep connection with someone. It is here when she reveals some details about Dave, and Lisa finally realizes that her son is her patient's boyfriend. As quickly as she can, she ends the session with Rafi and now has no idea what to do to keep her son away from her. Rafi is not Jewish and is much older than him, something that in her family and religion would be a huge embarrassment. Because of this, Lisa ends up attending a therapy session to analyze how to face this situation, since her commitment to her patients is very important to her. The advice the therapist gives to Lisa is to let them continue with their relationship, believing that it will most likely end very soon, and both will go their separate ways. A week passes, and during the next therapy session, Lisa has to listen as Rafi confesses that for the first time in 9 years, she has had an orgasm and has never felt more alive. Since Rafi does not know the connection between her therapist and her boyfriend, she spends the next minutes of the session talking about everything delicious she has had in the last few days, while Lisa twists in discomfort, listening to every detail of her son's talents. Although the situation makes Lisa infinitely uncomfortable, she remains professional and advises Rafi as best as she can. That night, Dave takes Rafi to a rap night so she can see how young people of his time have fun. Later, in the taxi, she asks him to take her to his house. She wants to see his apartment. But since Dave lives with his grandparents, that could be embarrassing, so they try to enter quietly. When Rafi discovers that Dave lives with his grandparents, she almost can't hold back her laughter and almost gives them away. In his room, Rafi can finally see some of Dave's paintings, and it turns out that he is actually very good and could make money if he exhibited them in a gallery. The next morning, Dave finds out that his grandparents have exchanged the house for 2 weeks. They're going to Miami on vacation, so Dave will have to find somewhere to live during that time. Dave tells his mother that he will stay with Morris, who has offered to take him in while his grandparents return. But that afternoon, the first thing that comes out of Rafi's mouth when the session begins is that she will move in with her new boyfriend, something Lisa did not expect at all. Now that they live together, Rafi and Dave have more time to go out, and they decide to go for a weekend in the Hamptons with Rafi's coworkers. There, they have a great time, and Dave finally
He meets his girlfriend's friends, who adore him except for Randall, who is clearly jealous. Using her friends' connections, Rafi introduces Dave to several gallery owners in the city, where they meet a woman who has attended with her daughter. Because of this, Dave can see in Rafi's eyes how much she wants to be a mother. This scares him, and he spends the next few days avoiding intimacy with Rafi, who cannot help feeling frustrated. This causes Lisa to feel a bit relieved during their next session, when she hears that they are finally having problems. After this, Lisa can no longer stand it and confesses to Rafi that Dave is her son, which makes the woman feel deeply betrayed. At home, Dave takes the situation with humor in front of Rafi, but when he is alone, he lets his mother know how betrayed he feels by her actions. Now that the lie has been uncovered, the couple does nothing but argue, causing Dave to have no choice but to turn to Morris to stay with him for a few days. Shortly after, Rafi finally opens up to Dave and confesses that she wants to be a mother more than anything in the world, and he is still too young for that responsibility, so it will be best to end things and for each of them to go on with their lives. Lisa, who has completely lost control of the situation, cannot believe how things turned out. She kept the secret to allow Rafi to be happy, and now Dave, with his immaturity, has ruined the relationship, so Rafi has broken her son's heart. The days pass, and the protagonists can only miss each other. However, they are too proud and stubborn to get in touch. As a way to cheer him up, Morris takes Dave to a club, but he just sits there and ignores the beautiful women while thinking about Rafi. After a couple of drinks, he finally does what any young man would do and ends up having fun. But the next morning, he feels very bad thinking that he betrayed Rafi. Later, he runs into her at the supermarket, and the passion returns, causing both of them to decide to leave the past behind and fully give themselves to each other. Now that they have decided to be together, only one thing remains to be settled: the approval of Dave's family, who are very strict in their traditions. The family behaves as best they can, and Dave surprises them by saying that thanks to Rafi, he has sold several paintings and can now have a stable future with his work, so the dinner ends very well. Unfortunately, the next morning, while at work, one of her co-workers tells Rafi that she saw Dave leaving the club with a woman, so she questions him, and being unable to lie to her, the young man confesses his betrayal. Several days pass, and feeling desperate, Dave goes to his mother for advice. She tells him that love implies trust, showing yourself vulnerable to the other person while hoping they will not betray you, and that is exactly what he did. Because of this, Dave realizes the very serious mistake he made and opens his heart to Rafi, who can see sincerity and deep love in his eyes, so she forgives him immediately. After this, they spend the whole night together until Rafi confesses that although they love each other deeply, Dave is not ready to be a father, and that is the next step for her. A year has passed, and Dave walks through the streets with Morris, telling him that he has obtained an exhibition in a gallery that promises to boost his career as an artist. Suddenly, they enter the restaurant where he had his first date with Rafi, and there she is, having dinner with her friends. Dave does not want to hurt her, so he quickly leaves, but then he takes a moment to look at her through the glass. At that moment, Rafi looks toward the window and recognizes Dave. Both maintain eye contact while remembering the moments they spent together, all of this before saying one last goodbye.